You know there's something deeply unsettling about the feeling that someone you love is slowly slipping away, not in the physical sense, but emotionally. It's like one day, you wake up and realize the warmth in their voice isn't quite there anymore. The little things they used to do, the way they'd ask about your day, or reach for your hand without thinking, suddenly feel like distant memories. And if you're sitting there right now, wondering if this is happening in your own relationship, I want you to know something. You're not alone. This is something so many of us experience, especially as we get older. Relationships change. People change. And sometimes, without us even realizing it, the person we love starts pulling away emotionally. The good news? There are signs, clear, early signs, that can help you recognize what's happening before the distance becomes too great. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because whether you're 60, 70, or beyond, you deserve love that's present, warm and true. Now, I'm not here to make you worry unnecessarily, but I do believe that when we see the signs early, we can either address them or prepare ourselves for what's ahead. So let's talk about the first few signs that someone may be emotionally pulling away from you. The first sign is conversation feels forced. You know those easy, flowing talks you used to have? The kind where you'd lose track of time because you were both so engaged? When someone starts pulling away, those conversations become rare. Instead, you might notice they give short answers. Don't ask follow-up questions or seem distracted when you speak. It's not that they're always rude. It's subtler than that. They might say, uh-huh, or that's nice, but you can tell their heart isn't in it. Think about it. When you love someone, you're curious about their life. You want to know how their doctor's appointment went, what they thought about the book they're reading, or how their lunch with an old friend turned out. But when emotional distance creeps in, that curiosity fades. Suddenly, it feels like you're carrying the entire conversation. And that's a quiet but powerful sign that something's shifted. The second sign is they stop sharing the little things with you. Remember when they'd call just to tell you about the funny thing that happened at the grocery store? Or how they'd text you a photo of a sunset because it reminded them of you? Those small, seemingly insignificant moments are actually the glue of a relationship. They're the way we say, "You're on my mind even when we're apart." But when someone starts pulling away, those little shares disappear. They might still talk about the big stuff, health updates, family news, but the day-to-day moments, the inside jokes, the random thoughts, the wish you were here messages, those start to dry up. And that's because emotional closeness isn't just built on the major events in life. It's nurtured in those tiny, everyday exchanges. When those fade, it's often a sign that their heart isn't as open as it once was. Now, before we go any further, I want to pause here, because I know this isn't easy to hear. If you're recognizing these signs in your own relationship, it might bring up a lot of emotions, sadness, confusion, maybe even denial. And that's okay. What matters is that you're paying attention, because whether this distance is temporary or something more lasting, you deserve to face it with clarity and strength. We'll talk about a few more signs, the kind that aren't always obvious at first glance, but can tell you so much about where someone's heart truly is. Because knowledge isn't meant to scare us. It's meant to empower us. And you, my friend, deserve that empowerment. So let's keep going. Gently and with courage, just like you've done so many times before in life. You know, one of the hardest things about love, especially love that's lasted decades, is realizing that the person who once knew you better than anyone might not really see you anymore. It's not always a dramatic breakup or a shouted argument. Sometimes it's the slow, quiet moments where you feel their absence even when they're right beside you. And if you've noticed that happening in your relationship, I want you to know something important. Your feelings matter. Your instincts matter. And you don't have to brush off those little aches in your heart as just getting older. In the first part of this conversation, we talked about 2 early signs that someone might be pulling away emotionally when conversations start feeling forced and when they stop sharing the little things with you. Today, we're going to go a little deeper, because emotional distance doesn't always announce itself loudly. More often, it shows up in subtle shifts, the kind you might second-guess or explain away, even when your gut is telling you something's changed. So let's talk about the next few signs, the ones that might not be as obvious at first but can tell you so much about where your relationship really stands. The third sign is they become less affectionate, and not just physically. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, of course people slow down with age. We're not young lovers anymore. And you're right, affection does change over time. But here's the thing, emotional closeness isn't just about holding hands or kissing goodnight. It's about warmth, attention, the unspoken ways we show care. When someone starts pulling away, you might notice they don't light up when you walk into the room like they used to. They might stop making eye contact during conversations, or their tone of voice loses that familiar tenderness. Maybe they no longer do those small, thoughtful things, like bringing you a cup of tea without being asked, or adjusting your scarf before you go out in the cold. And yes, physical touch often fades too, but pay attention to how it fades. There's a difference between slowing down with age and actively avoiding closeness. If they stiffen when you hug them, if they find reasons to sit farther away, if their touch feels obligatory rather than loving, that's not just getting older, that's a heart stepping back. The fourth sign? They stop making plans with you, especially the small everyday ones. Think about the routines you've built together over the years. Maybe it's Sunday breakfast at the diner, watching your favorite show every Thursday night, or even just sitting on the porch in the evenings, talking about nothing in particular. When someone is emotionally invested, they protect those moments. They look forward to them. They might even say things like, "Don't forget, we've got our date night coming up." But when they're pulling away, those shared rituals start to unravel. They might suddenly have excuses for why they can't join you. "Oh, I'm tired tonight," or "You go ahead without me." Or worse, they just stop showing up, leaving you wondering when the last time was that they chose to be with you without hesitation. Here's what's important to understand. Love isn't just about the big promises. It's about the daily choices to be present. When someone no longer wants to build little moments with you, when they'd rather fill their time with anything else, that's a quiet but powerful message. Now let's talk about the fifth sign, which is perhaps the most telling of all. They stop letting you in when they're struggling. Life isn't easy, especially as we get older. Health scares, worries about family, grief, financial stress, these things weigh on all of us. And in a close relationship, you share that weight. You lean on each other. You might not have all the answers, but you face it together. But when someone is emotionally detaching, they'll start shutting you out during tough times. They might say, "I'm fine," when they're clearly not. They'll dismiss your concern with a shrug or change the subject. They'd rather talk to a neighbor, a friend, or even a stranger than confide in you. And that hurts. Because it's not just about them not needing help, it's about them no longer seeing you as their safe place. And when the person you love stops trusting you with their heartaches, it's often because they've already started to leave in small, invisible ways. Now, I need to pause here for a moment, because if any of this is resonating with you, I know it might feel heavy. You might be sitting there thinking, "But what did I do wrong?" Or, "Maybe I'm just imagining things." Here's the truth. Relationships change for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it's about unmet needs or unresolved hurts. Sometimes it's just that two people grow in different directions. But whatever the reason, it's not a reflection of your worth. You are still someone deserving of love, attention, and kindness, whether it's from the person you're thinking of right now or from the people who do show up for you. And that's why recognizing these signs matters. Not so you can live in fear, but so you can face whatever's happening with clarity and decide what you need to do next. In the final part of this conversation, we'll talk about the last few signs, the ones that often show up when emotional distance has grown deeper. But more importantly, we'll talk about what to do when you see these signs. Because knowledge isn't just about seeing the truth. It's about figuring out how to move forward with strength and grace. So take a breath, be gentle with yourself, and when you're ready, we'll keep going, one step at a time, just like you've done your whole life. You've made it this far, and that tells me something important about you. It tells me you're the kind of person who faces things head-on, even when they're hard, even when your heart aches a little just thinking about them. And that's courage. Real, quiet, grown-up courage. Because love isn't just about the easy days. It's about showing up for the truth, even when the truth isn't what we hoped for. In the first two parts of our conversation, we talked about 5 early signs that someone might be pulling away emotionally. When conversations feel forced, when the little shared moments disappear, when affection fades, when they stop making plans with you, and when they no longer let you in during tough times. Today, we're going to talk about the last few signs, the ones that often appear when emotional distance has settled in deeper. But more importantly, we're going to talk about what to do when you recognize these signs. Because you deserve more than just seeing the truth. You deserve a way forward. The 6th sign is they become indifferent to your feelings, or even your presence. There's a particular kind of loneliness that comes with being around someone who no longer reacts to you. You might share exciting news, a grandchild's achievement, a personal milestone, and they respond with a distracted, "That's nice," before turning back to the TV. You might express hurt about something they said, and instead of apologizing or even engaging, they shrug it off with, "You're too sensitive." Indifference is different from anger. Anger, at least, is a form of engagement. It means they still care enough to react. But when someone looks at you with blank eyes, when your joys or sorrows don't seem to register anymore, that's emotional withdrawal in its deepest form. It's as if you've become background noise in their life. The 7th, and often final sign, is they stop working on the relationship altogether. Love isn't passive. Even after decades together, healthy relationships require small acts of maintenance, checking in, compromising, saying, "I'm sorry" when needed, or simply asking, "How are you really?" But when someone has emotionally checked out, they stop putting in any effort. They won't initiate difficult conversations. They avoid counseling or dismiss the idea outright. They might even say things like, "This is just how I am now," as if relationships are frozen in time rather than living, breathing things that need care. Here's the painful truth. You can't carry a relationship alone. If you're the only one trying to bridge the distance while they stand still, or worse, walk further away, it's not a relationship anymore. It's a waiting room. Now, I know this isn't easy to hear. If you're seeing these signs in your own life, your heart might be heavy right now. You might be wondering, what do I do next? First, let me say this. Your feelings are valid. You're allowed to grieve even if no one has died. You're allowed to mourn the love you thought would last, the future you imagined, the person who once felt like home. But after the grief comes a choice, and that choice is yours alone. Option 1, try to reconnect. If the relationship is worth fighting for, and only you can decide that, start by naming the distance out loud. Use gentle but clear language. "I've been feeling like we've lost touch with each other. I miss what we had. Can we talk about that?" Avoid accusations. Instead, focus on your own feelings and invite them to share theirs. If they're willing to work on things, consider counseling, not as a last resort, but as a tune-up for your hearts. Option 2. Accept the distance and adjust your expectations. Sometimes love changes shape. They may never be the partner they once were, but you can choose to find peace in other connections, friends, family, hobbies, or even a renewed relationship with yourself. This isn't giving up. It's choosing where to invest your energy wisely. Option 3, walk away with dignity. If the relationship has become more painful than peaceful, leaving is an act of self-respect. You don't need a dramatic confrontation, just the quiet certainty that you deserve better. Whatever you choose, remember this. Love shouldn't leave you feeling lonely. And no matter your age, it's never too late to seek happiness, whether that's in repairing what's broken, building something new, or finally putting yourself first. So here's my final question for you. What does your heart need to feel loved again? Maybe it needs a hard conversation. Maybe it needs forgiveness, for them or for yourself. Or maybe it just needs permission to let go. Whatever it is, I hope you'll listen. Because after a lifetime of caring for others, you deserve to be cared for too, starting with the love you give yourself. Thank you for trusting me with this conversation. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you found it helpful, consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear it too. Until next video, remember, your story isn't over yet, and the best chapters may still be ahead.